Hello, hello, everyone. I am going to just share this out. We have a very exciting live to share with everyone today. So let's get it out there. And I'm just going to wait for a few people to join and share this out and grab my coffee, and we will be right back. So I'm just going to turn on the ticker here, the countdown, come back in very shortly. We'll see you soon. Okay, I think we got a few people in here. Hello, everyone. I think we've shared it to the KICLEI Canada page. That's great. Please share this out. I'm going to cover some really important information for everyone today as we look at our next steps moving forward in helping our local councils to withdraw from UN directive programs. So really important information. We're truly on to something here, and I have put the information together so we can do this across the country, and I'm going to give you the full download on that today. So who do we got in here? If you want to say hello in the comments, really appreciate knowing who we have joining us as we go through this, and if you're catching the replay, that's great. And we're going to get into this. So let's start with our presentation here. So if you haven't joined already, we do have a new Facebook page, KICLEI Canada. Check it out. I think in just over a week, we have 23 or 2,400 members that have joined us from across the country. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Please do pile into that group. We have a little bit of work to do in each of our counties. So I'm going to start with this article, which was just released a few moments ago. So if you have joined the KICLEI Substack at KICLEISubstack.com, you will be receiving emails like this. And this will be, we have different sections there for the different municipalities that we're working in. So you'll find our work in Simcoe County under the Simcoe County case study series. So we also have one for Thorold and Peterborough and others. If you haven't heard already, we did help the municipality of Thorold to opt out of the Partners for Climate Protection program. I'm going to tell you what that is today in our live and why it matters, and give you the effective tools that you need to help your municipality opt out of these UN directive programs. So we got people in the chat. Hello, Lynn. Encouraging everyone just to say hello in the chat there. It helps with the algorithm, and also to share this out. We're going to cover quite a bit of information, and I'm going to try and do it in about half an hour, 40 minutes. Hi, Mark. I'm glad to see you're there. Excellent. So Mark is going to help moderate this chat. Hopefully this time of day works for you, Mark. Sorry for the short notice. And we'll go from there. Hi, Adrian. Great to have you here. Thanks for sharing the page and being involved and for your support with this. So let's get into it. Okay, so for those who don't know, we have effectively helped the first Canadian municipality to opt out of the Partners for Climate Protection program. So I think before I get into this, I'm going to give you a brief rundown of how Agenda 21 is being implemented through Canadian municipalities. So many people, when we look at these international agendas and agreements, what we're failing to notice is that in these documents, we clearly see that these agendas are being downloaded directly to our municipalities for their voluntary adoption and implementation. So what we all know is that Canada signed on to Agenda 21 in 1992. Many people don't know that in 1990, let me just stop sharing for a minute, go back to StreamYard. In 1990, the United Nations formed an organization called ICLEI, that's the International Council on Local Environmental Initiatives. ICLEI came over to Canada in 1990, 1991, and worked with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities to draft the documents that would be signed and agreed to in Rio de Janeiro at the Earth Summit in 1992. So what does Agenda 21 have to do with Canadian municipalities? That's what we're going to get into, and where I think we've uncovered a real key on how we can help push back on Agenda 21 and the elements of that agenda that after 30 years, we're clearly seeing are negatively impacting our communities and even our environment, to be honest. So let's get into it here. Back over to that. Let me go see here. Okay, so in 1994, okay, let's move ahead 2 years to 1994. The Canadian municipalities released a document called the Municipal Primer. It's subtitled Promoting Sustainable Development Through Local Strategic Action. And if you didn't know, all of our municipalities have what are called strategic plans. These are planning documents for our municipalities. And we can see that Agenda 21 is being inserted into our strategic plans and our long-term official plans for our communities. So again, promoting sustainable development through local strategic action. And it was a municipal primer on the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, otherwise known as the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro. So from there, within that document, within that 40-page municipal primer, is a flow chart clearly showing that Agenda 21 is being implemented through Canadian municipalities. And over here, I really want everyone to be able to see this. There we go. Right over here, the means of implementation is really important. How is it being implemented? Are they coming in with force and weaponry? No, they're coming in with education, public awareness, training, information for decision making, and that's where we're getting this transfer of quote unquote environmentally sound technology. Okay, so this is a real big clue on how this is being done and how we can counter Agenda 21 at that local level. Okay, so the reason that was given for implementing Agenda 21, as we all know, is rooted in this idea that human activities have resulted in changes to our global climate and are expected to do so in the future. So this whole narrative around climate change and CO2 and greenhouse gas reductions being a key goal. So in the municipal primer, it goes on to say that a lack of scientific certainty shall not be used for a reason for postponing sustainable development. And I believe that after 30 years, we should not be basing our strategic plans and our municipal plans based off of outdated theories and blueprints from 30 years ago from unelected international organizations. And I think most Canadians would agree with that. So, especially when we look at what the intention of Agenda 21 is. So it's all about this term sustainable development. And in the municipal primer, I recommend everyone read it, wrap your head around this, and we can move forward together from there. It states in the municipal primer that the Brundtland Commission coined the term sustainable development, and it's a term that directly targets our private property rights and drives future population growth to selected settlement areas. And we are certainly seeing that in the official plans in our rural municipalities all across Canada. The population growth is being limited, and the population is being redirected into selected settlement areas. Here in Ontario, there's a lot of talk from the politicians about how they're going to address the housing crisis, and announcements about the Ontario Housing Accelerator Fund. But if you look at that, they are only allocating 0.2% of those funds to rural Ontario. All of the money is going into the cities to build high density housing. So we're going to get into how this is not a Canadian, this does not fit the Canadian mold on true holistic development for Canadian communities across our country. And there is a reason why let me just go back here for a second. There's a reason why here in Canada, we settled in the north, why we are dispersed across the country, why we have little community pockets spread out across the country. It comes down to a national security issue. A land that is left unoccupied is a land that is easy to be reoccupied by foreign interests. And that is certainly what we're seeing all across our country. Our land is being bought up by foreign investors and even green green land trust funds, and all of this. And there's so many ways that this is taking place. But my message is that we need to occupy our hometowns, occupy the North, occupy the rural land. Never mind occupy Wall Street anymore. Okay, this is about saving our land and our country. And we can do that with basic civic engagement. And I'm going to show you how, and provide a successful strategy that we can use to get this started. So back to this little article here. Pop that back up. There we go. Thank you for watching, everyone. Feel free to put a comment in the comment box and share this out. So back to this idea of sustainable development. This term was coined, like I said, during the Brundtland Commission, prior to the adoption of Agenda 21. And in that report, it states that land cannot be treated as an ordinary asset controlled by individuals and subject to the pressures and inefficiencies of the market. Private land ownership is also a principal instrument of accumulation and concentration of wealth, and therefore contributes to social injustice. If unchecked, it may become a major obstacle in the planning and implementation of development schemes. The provision of decent dwellings and healthy conditions for people can only be achieved as land is used in the interests of society as a whole. Public control of land use is therefore indispensable. Well, somebody might look at that and think, that sounds pretty good. That sounds kind of true. Controlling all the land can lead to social injustice. But what are we seeing? They're taking the land away from the people to have the right to own and occupy their land and use it for their best interests. And they're allowing private interests to buy up all the land and accumulating all that wealth for themselves. So, they like to mix in truth with error. So it starts off with saying that land can't be treated as an ordinary asset controlled by individuals. And then it packs in a mixture of truth and falsehood. And then it says public control of land use is indispensable. So here we go. And here in Canada, after 30 years of this policy being implemented, what has happened? We're in a housing crisis. Most 30-year-olds are still living at home with their parents because they can't afford $1 million home, which is pretty much the average cost of a home these days. We're being slowly driven off of our land in the rural areas and into the cities, forced to rent at a high cost, and people who have full-time jobs are living in shelters and tent cities and out of their cars. So in a land like Canada, I'm going to go back here. In a land like Canada, where 89% of our land is completely unoccupied and uninhabited, trees everywhere, good lumber, how is it even possible that we have a housing crisis here in Canada? Make it make sense, right? It doesn't, except for the fact that these policies have been slowly implemented in our country over a long period of time now, 30 years. And I think at this point, we can clearly see that it's not working for our country. So let's get to the root of the problem. Let's call it out for what it is. And instead of advocating for sustainable development, let's advocate for holistic development. And we're going to get into it later, but instead of globally initiated environmental stewardship programs that are nothing more than data harvesting programs for the green energy sector, let's advocate for locally developed environmental stewardship programs and strategies. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. The United Nations, whether it started off as a good institution or not, we were sold as Canadians the idea that the United Nations was going to help developing countries, that we as a developed country would give the United Nations money so that they could help undeveloped countries move out of poverty and provide them with education and resources so that they could prosper. Wasn't that the point of it? But now we're in a situation where we as Canadians are giving the United Nations money to come over here to our developed country where we have experts in every field, professionals in every town, and telling us how to operate our towns, what to do with our land, and how to do environmental stewardship. Canadians don't need that kind of international assistance. And again, I think a lot of Canadians would agree with that. We would rather do local environmental stewardship programs than have global lobbyist groups lobbying in our hometowns and our communities. So let's step it up with our environmental stewardship advocacy at the local level and bring this forward in our local councils. And I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to do that moving forward. Just going to go through the initial history here, what we've uncovered, and then we're going to get into our next campaign to remove these UN directive programs from an entire county, Simcoe County. We're going to launch our campaign there today, and also take on the city of Barrie and Aurelia, which are in that geographical region surrounded by Simcoe County. So let's just see what else we have on the background here and go from there. Okay. So how is Agenda 21 being implemented? Through our Canadian municipalities. 1994, guys. They sent the municipal primer, as I just showed you, from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. And the other thing the Federation of Canadian Municipalities did was launch a program called the Partners for Climate Protection Program. This is a program that is funded by the Canadian taxpayer through the Government of Canada and the Green Municipal Fund, as well as ICLEI, the International Council on Local Environmental Initiatives, and is administered by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. It consists of a 5-milestone framework, and I'm going to share with you what that is later on. It's essentially a data harvesting program in our municipalities. And it says on their website, on every page, that this program, despite being financed by the Government of Canada and administered by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, notwithstanding this support, the views expressed are the personal views of the author and ICLEI Canada. The Federation of Canadian Municipalities and the Government of Canada accept no responsibility for them. So the Government of Canada and the FCM are funding and administrating this program, and they have waived liability for the program. They are tricking our local councils into adopting this program. I'm going to show you the joining resolution in just a minute here. They're tricking them into adopting the program. They're lying about what the program really is and what the outcomes and costs will be, and hoping that they don't notice that they are taking on full responsibility for adopting and implementing this massive data harvesting program that leads to unnecessary expenditures and a reprioritization of interests away from the immediate needs of our local communities to, what is the word? Unattainable and unnecessary greenhouse gas reduction targets and goals. So again, the PCP program is sold to the councils as free, giving them access to tools, networking venues and events, case studies, and other informational resources. And of course, the members who sign up have access to the PCP Secretariat that offers coaching and technical assistance and support. So this PCP Secretariat is essentially assisting in drafting our local strategic plans and official plans, and suggesting bylaws and making recommendations to the staff to bring forward to our councils. So it's really high time that councillors and mayors across this country start to pay attention, because they are in a position to save our country from unnecessary programs and truly what they're doing here is foreign interference, but they've done it in such a way that they're sneaking around various criminal codes and other legalities to trick the councils into doing it. So we need our councillors to step up. Okay, so they're also bringing in the Partners for Climate Protection program is also a source of the EDI agenda. They are integrating that into the municipal climate action plans. So something to be aware of. This is a graph showing the municipalities that have signed up. Right now it's just over 500. You can see that they started signing up in 1994, mainly starting with the capitals of the provinces and Ottawa by the looks of it. And now they've captured 500 municipalities. So if we can do in Thorold, if we can do in these 500 municipalities what we did in Thorold, we can remove this program from Canada, which would be great. So they make it really simple to join. They basically put this motion in front of our councils. It looks really good. It says that it's free. It's voluntary. They can leave at any time. And if you've ever been in a council meeting, sometimes they're 6 hours long, 1,000 pages of documents sitting in front of them. This 3-page document comes on the table and essentially has been adopted without question up until last year, when a couple councillors in Thorold did ask, it says it's free, but what is the catch? And started asking questions and reached out to their community for support. So I like to point out that whenever we're addressing something like this, good rule of thumb, notice their supporting rationale, please, and stick to it. Our counter arguments to this program need to stick to their rationale. So if we're going to address the program and we're going to raise other considerations for the council to be mindful of and to provide information on it, let's stick to these 2 sentences, 3 sentences. They got a little bit more there. Doesn't matter. But I've been focusing on this. They're bringing it in because of climate change and stating that climate change is increasing the frequency of extreme weather events and posing other risks such as droughts, forest fires, and rising sea levels, which present a serious threat to our natural environment, our health, our jobs, and our economy. So one of the presentations that we've put together directly counters this argument, as well as the next one, that the 2016 Paris Agreement, signed by more than 190 countries, including Canada, committed to limiting the global temperature increase to below 2 degrees Celsius and to pursue efforts to limit this increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius in order to avoid the most serious climate change impacts. So you can check out our Substack series, Climate Facts 101, on KICLEI Substack. But I did want to show you one of the documents that we're using is Clintel's World Climate Declaration. And hope everyone can see that. Hello, everyone. Hello. They're getting, Lynn, to answer your question, which criminal codes are they getting around? They're getting around the codes regarding treason. That's what they're getting around. So by making it voluntary and getting the councils to adopt the programs, but tricking them into it, they're getting around that. They're also getting around Section 92 of the Constitution, which puts the municipalities under the direct jurisdiction and the sole jurisdiction of the provinces. So now we have international programs and organizations directly influencing our local councils. So treason is at Section 46 of the Criminal Code? I believe so. That one's easy to look up. Okay, so the World Climate Declaration, this came out August last year. It has now been signed by 1,940 scientists, including Patrick Moore, the founder of Greenpeace. Essentially, this declaration can be found on page 3, and then the rest of the document are all the signatures from all the different countries. And essentially what they say here is that climate science should be less political, while climate policies should be more scientific. I think everyone could agree with that. As scientists, they then state that both natural and anthropogenic factors contribute to warming, but the majority of the warming is from natural factors. The Geological Archive shows climate variability throughout Earth's history. And, when we look at the goals of the Paris Climate Accord, which states that they're going to somehow limit the global temperature increase to below 1 to 2 degrees Celsius, and we look at the Geological Archive, it's pretty obvious that we are in what is known to be an interglacial period. So there's glacial periods and interglacial periods. And we are currently in an interglacial period, and every interglacial period that has ever been on this earth has always been 1 to 2 degrees warmer than it is today. So the likelihood that we are going to somehow stop that from happening is very unlikely. And that's why I say that these goals are unattainable. And I hope that makes sense. They also state that the warming that is occurring is happening at a much slower rate than predicted by the IPCC. That's the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. That is a UN organization funded by the United Nations. They state that the current climate models are inadequate and exaggerate the effects of greenhouse gases, that CO2 is essential for plant life and beneficial for agricultural productivity. It's plant food, and that there is no statistical evidence that global warming has increased the frequency or intensity of natural disasters, and that climate policy should prioritize adaptation strategies based on proven and affordable technologies. Okay, so this is a great resource, and I'm putting together the climate series here that you can check out. I'll just pop down. I'll get to that one later, but there we go. We have a great series here, and at the end of the articles, there is lots of references that you can have a look at. So all of the articles coming off of my website here regarding the climate science are well backed up by references. And these are directly written to be shared with our elected officials so that they have some really good information to make better decisions. Because what did the FCM and ICLEI do? They provided information for decision making. They used education and public awareness So that's what we're doing too, to counter it. All right, back to here. All right, I want to move on from this program or this background information. But okay. But if you would like to check and see if your municipality has partnered with the Partners for Climate Protection program, you can go to their website and check it out. You go to the members page, go down to their map. You can check it out by province. If you're not there on a dot, there's hundreds more listed in the chart here on the side. And as we move through this presentation, I'm going to show you why this is important and some other useful information that we need to gather from this website for each municipality in order to remove the program. Okay, you can also find their joining resolution here and have a look at it there. And did you know that this program is being operated, administrated out of Ottawa? And I know I go to Ottawa quite a bit, participate in rallies there, and I'm just fascinated that all this time we're complaining about in the United Nations and their affiliate international organizations, and we literally march right past their headquarters in the Byward Market on a regular basis. And I think we really need to aim to have a really good rally there and protest, I would say, in September, but September is booking up like crazy for me. So we do need to get planning on that. But anyway, back here. Okay, so you can check that out. And then what we're doing is finding the joining resolution, and I'm going to show you why that's important. Just one more item of interest. I'm sure a lot of people have seen this letter. So when we started doing delegations last year, the group in Orillia made a request to do a delegation, and their delegation request was denied. And they were sent this letter stating that the delegation was denied because the Council of the Corporation of the City of Orillia continues to consider its decision-making under the broad umbrella of these United Nations directives. Now, I think that they must be confused, because if you look at the Municipal Act, the duty of the Council of the Corporation of the City of Orillia, their first duty states that they are to represent the public and to consider the interests of the municipality. Not this. And why? Why are they doing this? Because Prime Minister Trudeau is aiming to achieve Agenda 2030. So there we go, guys. Lots of good information in these articles, and I've provided a bit of instruction on what to do if your delegation is denied. And if the clerk cites their procedural bylaws and states that your delegation is on a matter outside of their jurisdiction, we need to point out the fact that they have adopted this program and include that in our delegation request so that they know that we know, and to inform them, because councils don't necessarily know that they have signed up for this UN directive program. Okay, so this is an older article. Let me hop over now, and I'm going to just take a 5-minute break. But while I do that, I'm going to play I'm going to play, actually, I'll just take a 3-minute break, and I'll make sure that I've shared my audio here. And I'm going to show you a 3-minute video from our climate change series. How's everyone doing in there? You're hanging in there? I know it's a huge download of information, and that's why I can't just go out and have a normal life and talk to regular people in public, because I'm just like downloading an insane amount of information. So thank you for being such studious people. I love you all so much, and thank you for watching so far. So we're going to break this up into 2 parts. So that was the original history of the UN directive programs, a brief snapshot. I'm going to play a quick climate change video for everyone. I'm just going to pick a random one and take a 3-minute break and grab some water, and then rejoin you back here for our campaign, our KICLEI campaign in Simcoe County. Everyone across the country, you're going to want to watch what we're doing there, this information that we're sharing, all the reports, all the petitions, all the strategies can be done in all 500 municipalities where this program is operating. And we all got just a little bit of work to do. So I'm going to show you all the different ways you can get involved, whether it's just from, a 5-minute investment of your time, following the page, sharing the information, or organizing with a group in your province, in your municipality, and working out from there. Each province is a little different, so we do need to kind of start with the provincial organization and kickstart it that way. So let me share this page, and I'm going to share it with audio. Yes, excellent. And you're going to notice that the language that I'm using in these videos is specifically designed to reach the majority of our Canadian brothers and sisters. And in a sense, we need to take back the environmental movement if we want to win this, and go from there. So I'm going to just check on StreamYard here, make it full screen for you all, and grab myself some water.
In today's climate change debate, carbon dioxide, or CO2, and human activities are often painted negatively. But what if we told you there's more to the story? Let's explore the essential role CO2 plays in the Earth's ecosystem and how human activities contribute positively to environmental stewardship. CO2 is not a pollutant. It's crucial for plant growth and maintaining ecological balance. Natural sources like oceans and soil respiration emit around 770 billion metric tons of CO2 annually. In comparison, human activities contribute a fraction of this amount. Did you know that 71% of the Earth's surface is water? Of the remaining land, about 50% is untouched wilderness. Agriculture, vital for global food supply, uses 37% of land. Urban areas occupy only 1 to 3%, highlighting our relatively small footprint. Human impact on the environment is often overstated. Sustainable practices like crop rotation and permaculture enhance soil fertility and prevent erosion. Controlled burns and selective logging reduce wildfire risks, showing that humans can coexist harmoniously with nature. Policies that drive population growth to urban areas often ignore the benefits of human stewardship. Displacing people from their land disrupts sustainable practices maintained for generations. Instead, policies should promote healthy communities balancing human needs with environmental health. Fossil fuels play an essential role in modern society. From powering vehicles and heating homes to generating electricity and supporting agriculture, fossil fuels are integral to our daily lives and our overall well-being. While reducing CO2 emissions could be important, we should focus on larger pollution sources. Industrial activities release harmful pollutants with immediate health and environmental impacts. Policies should prioritize reducing these pollutants for a healthier, more sustainable future. Effective environmental policies need well-informed decisions that balance stewardship with economic and social needs. Local communities often have successful conservation strategies. Empowering these communities can lead to more resilient and sustainable environmental policies. Reframing the climate change narrative means recognizing the essential role of CO2 and the positive impact of human activities. By focusing on sustainable practices and informed policies, we can create a balanced and thriving future for all. Join the conversation at KICLEI.ca. Reframe the narrative. Support balanced climate policies.
Okay, we're back. So that's just one of several articles and videos we've done to go along with that. And I have several more to put out. So again, I recommend joining the KICLEI Substack so you can get these articles and send them to your local representatives at the local, provincial, and federal level so that they can have better information to base their decision making on. And we want to give them the words that they can speak so that we can bring common sense back into this debate. Okay, so got my water. I hope you all had a little break and are ready for the solution. Woohoo! So let me get into our next piece here. Excellent. Get it up on the screen in just a second. Go. Okay, so this article was just released. Everyone can have a look at it, share with your local groups, and go forward from there. So we've been working with the group in Simcoe County. I've been working with people from really all across the country, and I really appreciate it when people take the initiative to follow through on the steps that need to be taken in order to initiate KICLEI in their community. That starts with finding a couple people to work with that are interested in this initiative. And your first step is identifying whether or not you've signed up for the program, either at your township, town, city, or county or regional level. In many cases, they are signing up our rural municipalities at the county and regional level. So over in Simcoe County, we worked with the team there, and they did the research and they contacted their clerks, and they found out that they found the joining resolution for the Partners for Climate Protection program was done through their conservation authority. So their conservation authority, working alongside the county, has signed them up with the ICLEI framework and therefore the Partners for Climate Protection program. And so this is their joining resolution. And I like to tell people, the way things work in our councils, they're kind of based off of Robert's Rules of Order, and motions get passed, and future decisions are based off of previous motions. And I'm by no means an expert in municipal policies, but I do have a background working on a board, working with Robert's Rules of Order, watching council meetings. You can learn a lot by watching how things are done there, and just really noting the importance of these motions. If it wasn't for these words, these 3 paragraphs right here, this program would not be being implemented in the entire geographical jurisdiction of Simcoe County. So these words are important, and that is what we want to target. We want to undo the spell that was cast on our municipalities. And we do that with words and with motions and with recommendations to reconsider these motions. Okay, so in this article, I give everyone a link to our planning meeting for the Simcoe County group. It was a great meeting, and you can watch that. You can meet the entire team that has began to form in Simcoe County, and I'll just click play so you can have a quick look at that. We have
Okay, good morning, everyone.
We have some really great people in there. Shawneen, she's worked within the government for several years. She's a great networker. She's very passionate about seeing change. Terry as well. We have Michelle from Barrie. She's a environmental engineer, runs an environmental consulting business in Barrie. We have Jillian from Aurelia, as well as Kathy Kerr. They're excellent researchers, well-known, well-networked in their community, very professional, has participated and organized many events in their community over the last 4 years. We have Simone. She is a real estate agent, born into a farming family, very awake, very passionate, does work internationally with training service dogs for law enforcement and fire, search and rescue, I believe. We have members here. We have Glenna and Lori from Tiny Township, and I'm really excited about that. They've been very active in Tiny Township for many different issues, including more recent one opposing a massive administration building that is being built according to the green building standards. And we see that they're doing this a lot. They're spending a massive amount of our funds, our public funds, on rebuilding new administrative buildings according to the green building standards. So of note, I am originally from Tiny Township. I grew up in Tiny Township, so I'm really excited to work with a team that is going to help kick this program out of my original hometown. It's a beautiful area. Now I want to move back there, just thinking about it. I'd move back to Kettle Beach and look at Giant's Tomb for the rest of my life any day, except for the winter. I would definitely not want to be there all winter. Okay, so there's a bit of fluffy talk here, and then we get into the fun stuff. So what are we going to do in Simcoe County? What are we going to do in Simcoe County? So we've identified the program, and we have done a really good report and sent it to the mayors and councilors of Simcoe County. So I guess I'm going to have to quickly download that. I don't have it up. I wanted to share that with you all. Quickest way to do that. Let's see here. Sure. I'm not sure if it's going to let me open. There we go. So we sent an email with the report attached to the mayor and councils of Simcoe County. We essentially let them know that about our team, the KICLEI Simcoe County chapter, a citizen-led network dedicated to advocating for practical and locally relevant environmental policies. Let me just make this a little bigger. And we are writing to express our serious concerns regarding Simcoe County's participation in the ICLEI framework and the Partners for Climate Protection program. Now, I want people to realize that when they get this email, the majority of the councilors and even potentially the mayors do not know that they're participating in the Partners for Climate Protection program. They probably know about the wording ICLEI framework, but they don't know the full extent of what this program is. So we're educating them on it, and we let them know what our key concerns are. So high costs and increased debt load, extensive data collection, impact on housing market and housing crisis, green building standards, creating a whole bunch of unnecessary red tape, active transportation, and how it is not practical in the Canadian climate, nor in particular in the rural settings, impact on agriculture, and ethical concerns when it comes down to the profit-driven motives behind the data collection and the marketing of green energy products suggests corporate interests may be prioritized over genuine environmental stewardship and community needs. And then we let them know what we want. We want them to take action. They are the ones who can move this onto their agenda. They are the ones who ultimately need to withdraw from these programs. So I state that we believe it is crucial for Simcoe County to withdraw from the ICLEI framework and the Partners for Climate Protection program. And instead, we propose developing a locally driven environmental stewardship strategy that aligns with our community values, priorities, and fiscal capabilities. And then we propose the program, and then we have requested dialogue. So before we launch a public awareness campaign to address these issues, we would like to offer you an opportunity to discuss our concerns and explore potential solutions collaboratively. We believe that an open dialogue will allow us to address these challenges effectively and work together towards a more sustainable and economically viable future for Simcoe County. We kindly request a meeting with you and other key stakeholders, and so on. And we've attached the report and let them know we look forward to their positive response. So what are we doing here? What are we doing here with this? Oh, where am I? Where am I? There we go. You know that principle that when you have a problem with someone, you take it to them first, right? So I truly believe that in our civic engagement, it's really important that we communicate effectively with local representatives. And sometimes we need to make sure that we are being respectful and diplomatic, but we are also making our points clear and well known and our recommendations clear. So by sending them this letter and seeking to work collaboratively with them and meet with them and providing them with this information, we will likely have responses from local councillors who have concerns about these programs and need our support if they are to champion this cause for us. So we would not have been able to have our win in Thorold had we not had friendly councillors and councillors who were willing to speak up for the people on these issues. So I realize that most councils are taking vacation right now in the month of July, but many of them will be back in August. So this is something for them to think about. The other positive outcome of sending them an email like this and our report ahead of time is that they can start talking amongst themselves. So this email was sent to all the mayors and councillors of Simcoe County on that board of directors, as well as all the townships, towns, and municipalities. And we will do the same for the city of Orillia and the city of Barrie, but they have different motions. And truly, that email and the report that is attached to it and linked in the article, in a sense, could be sent across the country to all 500 municipalities that have signed up for the program. And you might, I trust that we will find friendly counselors across this country to work with. And it's really important that we band together, support them, and work with them if we want to get this job done. Does that make sense? All right. Back to what we can do. So that legwork, that has been done. Excellent. And we're encouraging others to do it in their municipalities, and I'll talk about that a little later, about how we can organize across the country. Okay, so you can find that there. Our recommendation letter is here. It's really good. Recommend everyone read it. So what can you do? You can start to attend your local council meetings, and if you are in the Simcoe County area, you can click on our meeting minutes here for our meeting, and you will see links to all the municipalities' websites where you can find out when their next meetings are and what's on the agenda. It's really important that we start to become aware of the current issues and the decisions that are being made in our local councils. You can also, if you're in the Simcoe area, you can start to circulate this petition and gather support for opting out of the PCP program and promoting our environmental stewardship plan proposal. So again, this is a resource that can be adapted for every municipality. You would just change it up here. And we lay out our main concerns, and we are putting this to the Simcoe County Board of Directors. We, the undersigned residents of Simcoe County, let me make this bigger, request that the Board of Directors withdraw from the ICLEI framework and the Partners for Climate Protection Program due to the following concerns: privacy and trust. Data collection invades privacy, erodes trust, eroding trust in government. And of course, this is all, we go into detail on all of these points in our report. Profit-driven motives, data used for marketing green products, prioritize corporate profits. Data security, third-party management, risks data breaches and misuse. Binding targets, reduction targets lock municipality into hard-to-reverse commitments, high cost and debt load. Green initiatives are costly, increasing municipal debt and strain. Impact on local needs. Climate goals may overshadow urgent local issues. Housing market and crisis. Green mandates raise construction costs and worsen the housing crisis. Impact on agriculture. Policies restrict land use, harming farmers' livelihood. Oh my goodness. I hope you guys can hear me. My microphone was moved way out of the way. Sorry about that. And you're not even looking at my document here. Hold on. There we go. This is the petition we're looking at. Apologies for that. I hope you can hear me better now. So it also impacts the construction industry with the green standards, complicating approvals and hindering construction. The active transportation policy is impractical for rural areas and harsh climates. Energy security, it's important that we ensure stable, affordable energy options to ensure economic stability. So furthermore, we propose developing a locally driven environmental stewardship strategy, and we provide a place for everyone to sign. So these petitions can be scanned and emailed to our Simcoe email address, and the hard copies can be mailed to our KICLEI Canada PO box. So if you're in the Simcoe area, you can download this, print it, and when you're at events, gather signatures from people who reside within the geographical jurisdiction of Simcoe County. Awesome. Okay. Now, hopefully everyone can see what I'm looking at. Good, good, good. Thanks for watching, guys. I know it's long. You can always check back after. Oh, good. Everyone can hear? Whew. Thank you, Maria. Had me worried there. Had me worried. All right. There we go. Okay, for Simcoe County. Now everyone knows we've created the KICLEI Canada Facebook group. We do have provincial chat groups set up in there. We will move this over to something like Telegram. Thankfully, in Simcoe County, KICLEI has already started a Telegram group. So if you are in that area, feel free to join us on the KICLEI Telegram group for Simcoe County. And there's great moderators in there already, and it's going to be a really great way for us to communicate on what we're doing moving forward in Simcoe County. And if you're interested in joining the group and you're not from Simcoe County, that's fine too. I realize that this is a learning opportunity for all of us. So just be mindful of the fact that it's going to be related to Simcoe County and not turn into a broader KICLEI Telegram group at this point. But we might look into that. We'll keep you updated. Okay, so another thing that you can be doing if you're in the Simcoe County area is using our flyers, social media, and merchandise, as well as word of mouth to spread the message and encourage others to get involved. Media and resources can be found on KICLEI.ca. So this is what we did in Thorold. We handed out our flyers, which can be found here. So we have posters and flyers available. So when you're out talking to people, you can hand them this and it'll direct them to the site. The printable material has a place where you can insert information about your local group and upcoming events and go from there. Our town hall posters or delegation flyers, when people are doing delegations, that can be localized to your community and we can share it from there. Also, it mentioned media. So we can start to share the various media that we have available with your community. You can do town halls, share some of this information there, send it to your friends, your counselors, your neighbors. Again, I'm very much trying to design this so it can be a great conversation starter and provide the wording and the language that isn't using extreme or triggering language and kind of dropping the rhetoric and just getting to the point and how it affects all of us, whether we're left or right. We own land, we have families, we have very similar concerns. And really, you know, when you think about it, we've come a long way from many years ago when there was a big movement, you know, against the 1%, right? It was us against the elite. And we need to get back to that and realize that we have a lot in common with our neighbors on left and right. And really, we're both left and right. We all, you know, for the most part, have that artistic, creative aspect to us, and as well as a desire to live comfortably and have common sense policies and not be overly restricted by government policies. So that media is available there. And we also have the merchandise store up and running again. So you can get buttons, you can get these nice little bags and use that when you go to the council meetings and have your little notebook in there. We have these sweaters, and on the back of them is our KICLEI logo with the message Localism over Globalism. We have t-shirts, buttons, and I really like the white t-shirt. I think it's great. So I'm glad that we have that up and going. Now you can also join us in this more internal network, which is really helpful have here, because if Facebook goes down, if anything goes down, I can at least look at where you all are in our country and help group you together with people in your municipalities. There's also an option to contribute. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has contributed to this. I don't really put it out there that often, you know, that this work is essentially taken over my entire life. I'm having a bit of a hard time maintaining my other business because of how busy I am with this. And I love this work so much. And at the same time, I really appreciate it that there's contributions coming in, and I'm getting to a place where I'm not worried about paying my rent and so on. I've essentially self-financed my activism up until this point. And of course, people do subscribe to the newsletter, and that helps a lot too. So the more that people are supporting in that way, the more I can devote my time to this. I am I am essentially, you know, a one-person show here. And that includes taking care of my home, my kids, my dog, myself, my clients, my other business. And it helps me if I have enough money to kind of outsource some of the things that do require my attention to other people that are in the movement as well. So if I need help with things, I do make sure that if I'm paying for a service to be done or something like that, I keep it in the movement. So anyway, it also helps me to travel and pay for the website and all the paper that I go through. And oh my gosh, the list is out there. It's pretty big. So anyway, I love the work and couldn't do it without you, and really thank everyone who has contributed so far. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And the website is in French too, so we can share this information en français. Woo! So that's pretty cool. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and kind of go back to where we're at. So those are different resources that are freely available for everyone to share and get the message out there, found on KICLEI.ca. So the next step, to get further involved. You know, it's one thing to share all the information, to get out there with the petitions. We really appreciate that. But we are looking for people to do delegations and become really informed on these matters so that they can be contact people in their municipalities across Canada. So I've laid it out here, everything I've done up until this point to inform myself about what the program is. What we're finding is that when, for instance, the councillors in Thorold asked the staff and even the FCM about the program, they were given very vague answers. So let's dig into it just a little bit, take the time and learn what these programs are. On the PCP website, they have the workbooks on all of their milestones, all 5 milestones. And what I did, I read those workbooks and I highlighted things, and that's where I got the information for the presentations and scripts that are now available for you to use and do in your municipalities. So instead of just jumping to doing the 5-minute delegation and putting up this beautiful PowerPoint, take the time first, please, to educate yourself on what the program is so you can answer the questions. If we want to save our country, I think it's worth the hour or two that it takes to go through this material and find the information from there. And it's right on the PCP website. So there's a link to that. I would also review KICLEI's Thorold study. So we have documented the successful withdrawal of the city of Thorold from the PCP program and outline the strategies that we used in that overall process. And I think that there's lessons and best practices that we can learn from checking out the Thorold case study. There's also further tools for local advocacy, and you can find that in this article. Again, this is providing you with the strategies and knowledge that you need to, as an ordinary person, effectively counter international lobbyists that are pushing and influencing your local councils, including some of the stuff that I just laid out there. So we've also provided the script and presentation for the Partners for Climate Protection Program delegations and so on. So that is found in this article, the presentation on the Partners for Climate Protection Program. I'll take you there really quickly. So there is the 5-minute script. There is the PowerPoint presentation. That goes along with your script. So where we cover the corporate and community data harvesting process that I don't think most councillors are aware of and is taking a lot of time in the administrative staff wing of our municipalities, talking about the data harvesting and green energy market and our concerns and ethical implications of this program. And I go through each milestone, milestone 1, and the issues that we have with that, as well as milestone 3, developing the action plan and what that entails, and milestone 4, which has our municipalities adopting the climate action plan and usually declaring a climate emergency, and milestone 5, where they repeat that process. And a little, I don't know if that'll play, but there's a video there about the climate activists saying that the money would have to come from other municipal priorities in order for their climate action plan to move forward. And then I outline the council's responsibilities and priorities. And of course, part of that is environmental stewardship, but they have a lot of other things that they should be focusing on as well, and presenting the idea of local programs for practical impact and holistic development. So a nice little presentation there that people can use, and some extra slides. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I didn't share that tab. So that's what the presentation looks like there. Apologies for that. And so on. Okay. So let's go back to our article. So if you would like to be a delegate or an organizer in the County of Simcoe, please reach out to us at the email provided here, KICLEI.simcoe@protonmail.com. And I will say, if you are interested in being an organizer in any other municipality, please join the KICLEI Facebook group. And you will see that there is a group chat over here. So please pile yourself into those group chats, and I will be reaching out and holding provincial Zoom meetings for KICLEI, and we can find who we have to work with there, and we can work on our plan moving forward from there. And that's what I'll say about that at this time. So all right, there we go. So in Simcoe County, we have a couple upcoming events. There is a protest in Tiny Township, Palm Beach Road. And if you've never been to Palm Beach, I absolutely love Palm Beach. Okay. I grew up there. I grew up in Kootenack Beach, which is just outside of the Penetanguishene, area. And then it wraps around Champlain Road, goes all the way to Kettles Beach. And then we got Awenda Park. And then around that is Palm Beach. And then that beach goes all the way down to Wasaga Beach. It's just an absolutely gorgeous place. So if anyone would like to join us there, I recommend bringing your bathing suit and hanging out for the day with us. And I just absolutely love it down there. And the information for that is, let me make sure you got it up on the screen. There we go. So the point of the protest is to oppose the construction of an unnecessary administrative building. And that will start, that's on July 31st from 4:45 to 6 p.m. And what did I want to say? So if you're in the Simcoe area and you want to come together and meet in person, that would be a good time to kind of come together, show up and show your support and let's put our amazing energy into Tiny Township. Tiny Township. You just got to love it just for its name. Okay, guys? And the fact that it's absolutely beautiful. The other event in Simcoe that is planned so far is September 8th. The KICLEI table will be at the Ontario Landowners Association barbecue. So come hang out with us there as well. So additional resources for people who are looking to see if their municipality has signed up for the Partners for Climate Protection program can be found here at the bottom. We've compiled a list from east to west, so it's all there. We even have the dates or the years, wherever we could find that information, that the municipality showed up. It really helps to have the year. This has been going on for 30 years now. And it helps the clerks find the motion to join if you have the year. So if you don't have the year, you can simply let your clerks know that according to the PCP website, the municipality has signed up and that you would like that information on how they signed up. And you can show them the joining resolution and the PCP membership page. And I just recommend being really polite with our municipal staff and forming relationships with them. In Thorold, it was the staff that moved this onto the agenda. Okay. When there was resistance, that staff member left. The clerk at the beginning of the year tried to move it forward. Before the vote happened, he left. The chair of the environmental committee, who was pushing this program right until the end, until the vote, the day after the vote, he quit the environmental committee, no longer the chair. Okay, what happened there? There were staff members in Thorold who looked at what this program was and recommended that the council withdraw from the program. Okay, there are good staff and good counselors and good CAOs, as much as everyone is on this CAO trip. We can talk about that at some point. There's a difference between the job of the CAO and the mayor, and there's a nuanced conversation. It's not cut and dry, but ultimately these are regular people like you and I, and we can have a positive influence on them so that they can make better decisions moving forward. Okay, and I think I got one more piece to share. Yes. Okay. So it was a link to our climate facts series. So again, recommending everyone opt on to that. So there's some great resources there for everyone. Let me just see if I've missed anything. So you all have the contacts now for the Telegram group, upcoming events. You have the petition, you have the report. That report can be sent. You know, you can take that report and go ahead with it in your municipalities as well. So I will do a KICLEI live Zoom meeting for everyone who's interested from across the country. We were doing them Friday nights at 7. This Friday night will not work, but I will be available to do a live Zoom meeting next week at some point. So again, subscribe to the newsletter so you can get that link and register for the meeting, and we can start facilitating organizing groups like the Simcoe County core group across the country in all 500 municipalities, and go from there. So a lot of work to do. Thank you all for your support and for sharing the work and your interest in this initiative. And I'm just wondering if there's any questions. Thank you, Mark, for putting this information in the chat. We really appreciate it. And so how long have we gone here? It's not telling me. An hour and a half. So I'll just make sure we covered everything here. If you have any questions, I'll stick around for a few more minutes. I wanted to just let everyone know, thank you for sharing the interview with Talk Nation the other day. It got a lot of traction. I think we were at 5,000 or 6,000 views. I did pull it down because I had essentially hopped on and almost immediately went into the interview, and I just thought, why don't I put it live on Facebook? But out of respect for Talk Nation, they are really doing an amazing job making their way into that really professional organization for talk radio in Canada. So I did take that down, and I will wait for them to air the entire interview. They have other guests that they interviewed for a really balanced report, and I'm excited for them to share that out. And I'll live stream that once it's out, and hopefully we get as much traction on that one as well. But thank you for sharing, and I apologize for having to take that down. I'll reach out to them. Maybe I can potentially set the audience to public again once that's done. Just wanted to say thanks to everyone who's sharing the work, talking about the work. Noticed over in Vancouver Island, the article came out from, is it Westward? They have a newspaper over there. They're printing articles about it. Farmers Forum printing articles about it. Just talked to them yesterday, and they're going to be following the work. So really appreciate the independent journalists that are covering this work. It's really amazing to see the work getting spread far and wide. I don't know if I told you all, but on my way back from Victoria, I was on the plane, and the lady sitting behind me was talking about this. So I just find it incredibly uplifting and gives me a lot of hope to know that we have tapped into a very empowering message, that and tools and strategies that can be implemented across the country. And, when I was in Ottawa on that last day, all I could think about was the fact that people had come from all across the country, and how dare they seek to remove us by force off the streets in front of our parliament. And ever since then, I've been looking for strategies that we can do across the country, knowing that Canada is such a big country and we truly need to find a way to address these issues in a way that we all have a role to play and an action and an item to do in all of this, because we can't all make it into Ottawa as much as I know many of you would like to. But because of the distance, it's really important that we find strategies that we can do all together at once that will make an impact at a national level. So the FCM slogan is local action, national results. That's who's one of the main groups implementing Agenda 21. So if that's their slogan, local action, national results, that's a good indication to us that if we want national results, we can go with local action as well. And for those watching on the KICLEI Canada Facebook page, thank you for participating and joining there and sharing it and inviting people to our group. I have 2 rules on the group: be respectful and stay on topic. KICLEI has a very specific message. People will be looking at that KICLEI page from all different perspectives, and we need to stay on message on that page. I will set up the Gather 2030 Facebook group and get that going. And that is where other strategies and other discussions can be had about the many solutions and discussions around those solutions that we need to have. So look for the Gather 2030 Facebook group in the near future. And we can go from there. So just on a personal note, my beautiful children are arriving back tomorrow. They've been away for 2 weeks. I miss them very much. And I'm really looking forward to spending the next 2 weeks with my kiddos. We will likely be doing some traveling and vacationing. And the intention of sharing all this work with you and getting this out there is to empower you to go forward and get active in your community. I shared on my Facebook page a little meme. Let's check it out. Where is it? Here we go. And it says, the fastest way to succeed is to start now and figure it out as you go. You can't learn to drive in a parked car. So I think that we are at a point right now. Oh, you can't see it. There we go. The fastest way to succeed is to start now and figure it out as you go. You can't learn to drive in a parked car. So I truly believe that we are in a point in our history here in the world, in civilization. There we go. In civilization, where they've pushed so far with this agenda, and it's hurt so many people and affected so many lives, that really almost anything we do, if we are engaging in effective strategies, will have an immediate positive impact. So you don't have to wait to be perfect or to have all the information to get this right. Really, it comes down to showing up and filling those rooms and being diplomatic and speaking the truth and pointing out the information that our counselors need to know and saying what needs to be said and speaking up for your community. We don't need to wait to get elected to become leaders in our community. And I know we don't want to have to be leaders in our community. It sucks, but nobody else is doing it, guys. So somebody needs to step up and say what needs to be said. And if somebody's willing to do that, get behind them, support them, learn from them, and step up yourselves. We need a multitude of leaders at every level all across this country. And you don't need to be elected to do that. So I love you all. And I will be giving you all an update on the next KICLEI Zoom and when we can get that started. I just need to get up, get the kids here and figure out what our schedule is for the next 2 weeks and go from there. Thank you for watching, everyone. And as always, much love and be blessed. And I love you all, Canada. Love you all out there. Stay strong, be encouraged, and take care of yourself, your family, your home, your community, and go from there. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. And thank you so much, Mark, for moderating. Really appreciate that, as always.